Hey guys, Coach Cutter here from Icons Rugby. How's it going? Just chilling out in my apartment in St. Petersburg. Been thinking a lot around, brand lately in players. And, I've got a really good friend of mine, Sione Faumuina. He has the Athlete Empire, and I think he's an industry leader in this content around, really giving out to professional athletes or on the brink of professional athletes on how to kind of embrace their brand and make the most out of, the really limited opportunity you get. It's a real small chunk of your life where you can maximize on that potential and ability. But, for me, I don't, only the guys who I develop up to professional sport do I have access to at that level. And for me, a lot of them are with managers and all this kind of stuff. And, that's a different topic. Go on to Sione's, videos on Athlete Empire and he speaks the truth about what managers are, a lot of them, and how they come. There's a couple of good guys out there, but a lot of them, if it's not worth the money, it's not worth the time. And for an athlete, that's bullshit, because you bust your ass every day of the week trying to get this result on the field, and you can leverage that result 10x if you have the right strategies and implementations going around, especially in this day and age with communication and value and how you're seen in the public. You need to be able to leverage that and give back to that. So for me, it really is, I'm going to discuss brand, but I'm going to discuss it from a schoolboy point of view through to kind of say 15 to 23 kind of image of the player who is coming through the ranks. We've seen all this stuff lately around the NRL with players getting sex tape releases and all this kind of jazz. And, it just really pisses me off around this, that the media will run with any story to kind of blow it up. And it really frustrates me at the fact that the NRL is controlled by the media. So they'll release stories that they think will get people interested into their brand and create more awareness around, bad publicity is still publicity. Okay. It's funny when you see these stories come out. These stories come out around funny times in the NRL. It's real funny how it comes out. Now, for me, I'm not going to discuss that. We're not going to go into it, but it's around the individual players who are up and coming, how to control their brand. I deal with, I reckon personally I coach maybe 15 to 20 guys who are around the ages of, 18 to 22. And then I've got on Instagram, and Facebook, maybe another, let's say 100 boys in Brisbane. Let's just talk about Brisbane alone, who are up and coming footy players who have the ability to make it. And I follow their social medias. Now, they do not present a brand that if I was in a professional sense, I would look at and go, wow, this kid is someone who's switched on. Most of the people who post on social that are footy players coming up through the ranks are posting about, them going out on the weekend or hanging out with their cousins or doing this other kind of stuff. And, you got to understand it presents an image what you post. You're allowed to do whatever you want, but if you're a player who's trying to make it, don't put fuel on the fire in a negative context. Now, there's nothing wrong with drinking. There's nothing wrong with having a good time. But, I got a young fella who's coming through the ranks, coming up in the Q Cup, and I think he can play NRL. But the only things I see on his Instagram are one thing a week of training and then 4 or 5 things around eating out with friends and getting on the piss. Constantly, week after week after week after week after week. Now, in my experience, what I know is coming into the future, every time from those actions that I see, no matter how much he's putting in work off on the field, away from the cameras, that content shows me who he is and what he believes he needs to be to get a better result. And for me, he's going to struggle. He's really going to struggle. Now, you got these other people who have a positive image, and one of the persons who I love to death about what they're doing with the game, how they're building their image and going on is one of, my female athletes, Amelia Cook. Now, Lala, jump on her Insta, jump on her Facey. She posts it all. She does, the party stuff here and there. She does, the workouts here and there. She does her work here and there. She does her friends here and there. But you know what she's out doing? She's out doing community stuff. She's constantly posting about building the game. Now, from a selection point of view, let's think about this from a marketing context in a professional manner. I've got a player who's Lala and I've got a player who's X, both the same ability and I look at them and I'm going to invest 100 grand a year into their contract. I got player Lala and I got player X. Who do you think I'm going to choose? I got player X who posts about drinking and, maybe has some bad things or emotional statuses and every kind of thing up on social media that posts a negative context. And I've got Lala here who's doing some of that stuff as well, but also then the community stuff and the value stuff and giving back and trying to develop and going and helping young kids and out to schools and using her label to build something, not just for herself, but to promote the game and promote, the community. Who do you think I'm going to invest my money in? I'm going to put it into Lala because there's a higher percent of return that I can get from marketing and managing and all these kind of contexts around merchandise because she is someone who's loved in the community. All right. Now that's an NRL, that's a WNRL context. Now you bring that down to say a Q Cup or Premier Grade level. You guys out there playing that level, why are you not out wearing your Devils jersey or Norths jersey or Bronx jersey, working with the community, out on junior coaching nights, doing whatever it takes to build your brand, throwing up a picture with the local community to get an extra 150 fans in your local market? Okay? Coaches see this. Administrations see this and they will value you and put you in a context where all of a sudden, if there's a speaking arrangement or some kind of event or activity, who do you think they're going to contact to get that role? And then you have the other guys whinging going, I didn't get to go to that game. I didn't get to go do this. But look at what you're doing from a brand perspective about who you are and what you're doing. Okay? My biggest pet hate, and I saw this on one of my professional athletes' page, he threw up a small kind of gang sign, which has nothing to do with him being affiliated with a gang. He just thought he was cool in one post and then ended up being published. And I reckon, 95% of people out there will have no idea that he's done it. But I saw it and I was like, you dickhead. There is no need for that shit. Okay, you're presenting a whole image, a whole team, a whole country of people, and you want to go do that shit? Man, it just shows your immaturity. It shows that you don't see this, all right, as a legitimate opportunity to build your brand, to build something bigger than actually the game. You have to think outside. Most guys go outside and finish footy and have to have a career. And I know in videos I've said you need to go one or the other, but I've never said you need to rubbish one. I just say you need to go hard at one to achieve the optimal result. Now, don't get that twisted. Go 100 in one area, okay, to put all your focus, all your primary attention over here, but make sure you keep that building on the side, okay? Because if this falls away, you've got at least a base there, a foundation there, okay? So you've got to think about this from a brand perspective. If you're coming through the ranks and you have a strong brand, you're more marketable, you're more approachable, the community like you do everything like this, you're a better person. And that's the kind of people I want in my team. And administrators look at this, coaches look at this, family and friends look at this. Okay, it's not about being a role model when you didn't ask for it. You should be a role model anyway. You should be a role model to your brothers and sisters. You should be a role model to your parents. You should be a role model to your cousins. You should be a role model to your community. If you ain't out being a dickhead, then you don't have to worry about it. Now, there's nothing wrong with getting drunk, and I understand shit goes wrong, and people take drugs, and I understand all that stuff, man. I get it. But be careful, be smart. Okay? You don't need your phone on you taking photos every time you're out getting on the piss. Okay? Think about what that image is going to look like in 5 years' time when it comes out. Think about how that image relates. If you've got issues with those kind of stuff, you need to reach out. Okay, and I understand not everyone wants to be in the public eye and not everyone wants to build, a brand and do all this kind of stuff. But you got to understand, you're in an industry where it's going to come out anyway. Someone's going to write a story about you. If you're not having a story written about you, you're not really at the right level, are you? So, guys, I really encourage you to have a think about this. If you want some help around this, then I'm more than happy to discuss this at an informal level and, have the chat around this. Manny's also a good person to discuss. He understands this a lot. But, jump on, have a follow of Sione Faumuina's page. have a chat of his athlete empire, listen to his content. He speaks about this a lot around, your brand and what you can do and how you can leverage it. He's definitely, for me, the industry leader in this context. And it's really in and around you understanding that footy is not just footy anymore. Okay, it's not. It's a business. It's a well-oiled machine that you need to leverage and take advantage of, that no matter what happens with your playing career, you're okay. You're going to be good, and you're not worried about how many people are following you and all that kind of extra shit. You're really worried about the person you are, who you're going to become, and how you present yourself. All right, guys. So that's it from me on brand. It's Coach Curto.